What happens when couples try to compromise but end in conflict? What do we find when I do a deep dive on little Luke? And how old was Madeline really when they got together? To answer this and many more questions, allow me to take us back to the beginning. Hello and welcome to Lawd Lukan. It's time to turn the pages of another chapter of 90 Day Fiancé the other way. On today's show, we deep dive on Luke and discover where all the money went. Anthony shows Manon his definition of romance. We check out who Fiji the stripper was. We see why Madeline hid when she really met Luke. And we find out what Luke has to do with this finker in Colombia. All this and more right here on the Lawd Lukan channel.
You don't like it? Leave.
Good day, bonjourné, and Ohio gozaimasu to you. Big loves to those who've subscribed, you beautiful people, and a black sapote to the lords and ladies of the Lukan Manor. So then, mon petit pois, it's a return to the land of the 90 Dayers. A chance to grab your passports, treat yourself to some new speedos as we form an orderly queue for departure. So, what's been happening since we last saw them? Well, let's do a very quick recap to see what happened in the last thrilling episode. Well, Jenny and Summit opened their very own Starbucks, and Jenny managed to lose their only customer because, she forgot to plug in the coffee machine.
Sorry, new. I'm new.
It's not
Plugged in.
Dude.
It could have got lost in translation, of course. New, or the phonetic nu, refers to a house, or the word no. So, either he thought she was trying to say the coffee was her house, or that he couldn't have coffee. Or maybe it just wasn't made right. I mean, her feet went nowhere near it.
Jenny, you have to try to do very quick.
You know what I can do? I can go home.
Cool, yeah. Shall I help you pack? Manon and Sundance Kid had a little disagreement when they were looking for a new house. Anthony went and made the mistake of suggesting that they could rent instead of buying.
I am not living in an apartment.
And in her usual style, Manon was totally reasonable about it. It's not like she acted like a total child and stamped her feet and had a mini tantrum in the car. And it's not like the Sundance Kid totally wish he had that special optional extra fitted to the car.
Because I always end up doing what you want. And I'm tired of
Little Lukey thought that a spiritual cleaning might get rid of that used stripper smell, which of course had absolutely no effect on the gelfling with attitude. And so he decided to try and get some solace from his friend.
You haven't said one nice thing about her.
Oh look, it's Brian Hernandez, co-founder of one of Lukey's amazingly unsuccessful business ventures. But we'll get to that later on. In all honesty, there wasn't much of Lukey that actually touched the stripper stripper called Fiji that his mates hired.
you.
This is the bachelor right here.
I don't know if I should hang out.
Of course, we can
Oh my
hug.
God.
See, he didn't shake her hand. Granted, he did hug her straight after refusing to hand touch her. And he was totally not up for it. As he said, it was totally all his friend's idea.
These mother...
One of those mother lovers, of course, the man who is now sitting with him, good old Brian. Then those smiles they're wearing, those are totally help get me out of here smiles, and totally have nothing to do with the fact he's having a lovely time.
I know that if Madeline found out about this before the wedding, she'd call it off and dump my ass.
So clearly the right thing to do was let the crew film it. And then what was his plan from there? Hope they didn't show it. Yeah, these production companies are well known for their honesty and discretion.
And you're getting married. Like, what about this sounds like a good idea?
Says the guy who was grinning like a mentalist at the sight of Fiji, and then filmed it on his phone to show how disgusted he was and how much he disapproved of the whole thing. Yeah, good job, big brain Brian. And of course, sport brat Chloe's mum tried out a bit of emotional blackmail.
There is a way that I would be able to support both of you if you both moved to Boston.
Right, so now we're all caught up, let's dive butt first into the episode, shall we? But before we do, if you're a fan of offbeat news and reviews that have more additional research than you can shake your baguette at, please do make sure you subscribe, like and hype to help my little channel grow. I thank you in advance. So let's get the Manon and Anthony bit over with, shall we? We join them today on their way to do some cheese tasting in France, a place where even the cats get a little cheese board, some pickles and maybe some rice. Rice? I didn't even know the cats ate rice. Oh, oui, oui, this rice and cheese is très bon. Then why did they even give them a knife? Well, I suppose how else will they cut the cheese, I guess? Now in France, they teach kids that cats say meow, just like we do. But what about horses? Well, in France, a horse says hi, and goats say bleh. See, in France, even the goats are apathetic and indifferent. So we join Manon and Anthony in the car. And poor old Sundance Kid has gone and made a fundamental mistake, as usual.
She's expecting to just go to like a fromagerie.
But I have something else in mind.
Oh, he's gone and tried to arrange something different. Oh, this poor deluded fool has decided to take Manon to a goat farm. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but Manon is wearing her best first lady outfit, and from where I'm slouching, isn't exactly dressed for the occasion.
It is an authentic cheese experience.
I think you'll be having an authentic retrieving cheese from your colon experience by the looks of it. So she was probably thinking a little wine, a little selection of fromage, perhaps a cracker or two, maybe some bread.
I know that Manon is like not a farm person, but...
Yeah, that butt is going to get you into trouble there, young man. You could have at least warned her not to get dressed up too much. Maybe suggest you wore a more casual beret for the afternoon.
I felt like it would just be something really cool.
Yeah, you see, now that's where you went wrong. You thought. And all that thinking hasn't exactly done you any favours this far. Although it does come from the heart. Manon's favourite cheese isn't available in the States because of the regulations. Essentially, if a cheese is made from raw unpasteurised milk and aged for less than 60 days, you can't have it. Whereas the French don't mind a bit of salmonella and listeria.
And I always fantasized about getting a goat.
Let's pretend that didn't sound as weird as it did, shall we? Yeah, I think the word fantasized was a little bit ominous. But unfortunately, instead of a temperamental goat, he got himself a moody cow who doesn't appreciate his efforts.
There's muds everywhere. Like, what is this? Did you brought me to a freaking farm?
Well, I'm liking this idea more and more. We get to enjoy Manon having a minor breakdown about it, but we don't have any of the fallout that Anthony has to put up with. Good job, Anthony. Taking one for the team. But Manon isn't too pleased about the whole outfit faux pas.
I dress business sexy chic like my style.
Really, there's an example of a sexy chic right there. Yeah, okay, looks a bit more like Grimace to me. But hey, you know, it's all fine.
It's not fine. No, it's not fine.
Well, it is for all of us watching. In fact, this might be one of my favourite moments featuring Manon yet. Sure, we get the usual moaning that we get fitted as standard to a Manon and Anthony segment, but this time we have the pleasure of hating every second of it.
And I end up with like a bunch of like goats looking at assholes.
And he's like, yeah, well, I have to look at some French arsehole every day, so, you know, welcome to my world. So they get to the good old-fashioned task of milking a goat, getting back to the authenticity of a simpler time when they did everything by hand.
Whoopla! When it's in contact, it starts automatically.
What? Well, that's a bit of a letdown, isn't it? Well, you know, her reaction is kind of fun, but I was expecting him to go hands-on. This isn't really milking a goat, is it? It's attaching a sucky thing to them. You hear about farmers having unusual accidents with these types of machines, don't you? Yeah, well, you know, I was going to milk the goats and somehow I just sort of fell into this machine. I mean, how careless of me. But there is a famous story where a farmer accidentally gets stuck in a milking machine and he has to call up the manufacturer for help, and they tell him that it'll automatically release once it's gathered 2 gallons. But that was, of course, a fake story. As far as I know, it never happened. But whatever you do, don't go looking for this kind of news story, and definitely don't Google the word Hugh cow. Or if you do, make sure you enable those SEO filters.
I'm going back to LA.
Okay.
Now it's time to visit another thing that milks people and gives people a look that says I might eat your shoe. It's Chloe and Johny. Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't sure if Chloe was the most irritating, entitled and undeserving person on the show, or, you know, whether that was Madeline. But then Chloe's mum, whatever her name is, and frankly I don't care, rooks up and suddenly I'm in no doubt. What do you reckon? Shall we skip them? That Johny guy seems alright, doesn't he? Mary met him a little while ago and said he was lovely.
I just want you to be happy. I want her to be happy.
Good luck with that. I've been out to Jenny and Summit extremely briefly in Noida, a place called Uttar Pradesh, a part of India that is famous for the Taj Mahal, the holy festival of colour, and Jenny's super duper store, you know, before it shut down. And it's good to see her bringing some food standards with her. I love how these guys are wearing the hairnets, but, you know, most of the hair is outside of the net. But there's not much happening here. Rohit pops over to antagonise Jenny and deliver some realism to Summit, and that was largely it. Plus, I wanted to just get over to Colombia because I've been doing a bit of digging into Meghan and Madeline. Oh, sorry, did I just call him Meghan? Well, for some time that was actually his name. Don't believe me? Well, it's in his amazing book, Meeting Madeline. Yours for less than £6 for the Kindle version. But I'll get to that masterpiece in a little bit. Now, everybody's probably familiar with his failing sunglasses business. I've seen a few posts where some sort of investigative type people have dug up some info on his business and supposed that his sunglasses are just cheap branded AliExpress specials. And that business of his, Gold Express LLC, which existed for just a month, is just the tip of his underwhelming iceberg. So let's do a proper dive, shall we? And show them how we do it Lawd Lukan style. Where his money came from, his other businesses, his book, his rental properties, what he's got to do with this rather lovely finca in Colombia, and how we know that Madeline was most likely 16 when they started to get together. And for this, we need to go way back to when Lukey was Meghan. Allow me to explain. Little Lukey was born in Santa Monica in 1993, to parents who were British on his dad's side and Mexican on his mother's. I read that there was a theory that his dad was Australian, but anyone from the delightful Isle of England land can spot that accent anywhere.
That's a problem if a pair of shoes is going to ruin the wedding. Holy crap.
The parents met over a love of football, you know. But his parents thought he was going to be a girl at first. Perhaps the ultrasound didn't pick up on his microcock. They had even poured some concrete at the family home and wrote the name Meghan in it, which, according to his book, is a bit of a running joke in the family. So, when they found out that he did in fact have a penis, presumably a magnifying glass helped that discovery along, they had no idea what to call him. So, the nurse, of all people, gave them a list of names and said that Luke was the best one. Good job! He then went to this preschool in Venice called Morning Glory. Really? Who the hell approved that name? And what other names did they reject? Yeah, sorry Ted, we feel the name Early Erection might give the wrong impression. He then went to a Catholic school called St. Mark's, here on Lincoln Boulevard. And he's there, sort of somewhere. He then went to an all-boys school called Loyola High, where he graduated in 2011, and then went to the University of Arizona, where he got 1 degree in mining engineering and 1 in geology. And so he started his career in rocks with the Freeman McMoran as an intern, and earned somewhere between $26 and $36 an hour. He then went to Rio Tinto, where he was a grade control engineer, which just means he tested rocks to see if they're valuable or not. From there, he was a project engineer at Lehigh Hansen, and then went to the Redland School of Business and Society and got himself a Master's in Business Administration, so he could get a promotion to Area Operations Manager, which would pay him about $116,000 as a base salary, plus a share profit of around $85,000, meaning he could earn up to $200K a year. Not too shoddy. In September 2022, according to most publications and reports, while working for a different company, Martin Marietta, he popped over to Colombia and met Madeline Perez. And from there got himself onto TLC's 90-Day Fiancé Love in Paradise, where he ingratiated himself to the audience with that oops moment, where editors forgot to blur out little Luke, and everybody got to see his little tiny penis. TLC then removed that episode from streaming sites, but then re-released it 2 days later, with all those little nasty bits covered up. But thanks to D-Man Johnson III, shout out to him and his channel, we get to see it. And it is much smaller than the Gina I've used to cover it up. Now, Madeline, who apparently was 20 in 2025 when the show aired, is surrounded by a bit of age-related grey areas. Her birthday seems to vary quite wildly. I've seen a variety of months, including May, June and October. So, therefore, she would have just turned 20 when this show aired. And the show says that they got engaged when she was just 19, but they met 6 months before that. Surely that must be right? I mean, they wouldn't go lying to us now, would they? Hang on a second. In February 2023, when they were supposed to have met, Luke appears in this video on her Instagram. However, she had already posted this event back in October 2022, which would have been her 17th birthday. She even said that this delightfully cheap Etsy necklace that she has was a gift from him for that birthday. Okay, sure, that would make sense if she hadn't already posted a picture of her wearing that exact necklace back in August of 2021, when she would have been 16 or 17, depending on which month we believe she was born in. In fact, she makes a few mistakes when she's supposed to have got rid of our Lukey in the pictures, but accidentally shows exactly the same pictures slightly earlier on. This holiday from September 2022, for example, appears several times, but we can see Lukey in the pool in the background. Or this shot with her in the white fluffy jacket, dated to 12th of March 2022. Oh, and guess who we can see in the background? Yes, indeedy, that's Lukey and that business partner of his, Brian. As we know, also the guy that got him a stripper. All these shots from the helicopter, where we see Lukey in the back, which were also posted in September 2021. So, for my 2 cents, their whole timeline doesn't seem to make any sense. But what we do know is that unless he somehow managed to post images way before they apparently happened, she was most likely 16 when they started to see each other. Which isn't illegal, of course, in Colombia, where the age of consent is only 14. So, we know that he had a pretty well-paying job, which would have paid for all these little holidays and extravagances, a job that he lost due to his frequent trips abroad, and that for extra money, he rents out his house in San Diego, a 3-bed place with an ADU. But he does say that he also has some business interests and investments. We know he had this sunglasses business. Here they are on his company's page, International Gold Express LLC, which says the company's address is here in Florida. However, this house belongs to somebody called Crenwich Bautista, a realtor from Florida. Now, we know these aren't ordinary sunglasses, customized from Etsy or AliExpress, because of their construction. The logo has enamel paintwork, and because of the raised logo and text, we know that they were molded and not engraved. What else is interesting is the text on the sunglasses. We have 2 things on the arms, Viviendo el Sueño, which means living the dream in Colombian, and then a website, luxor.co. Not at all cheap sounding. Now, I'll get to that in a minute. But before that, you see this video playing in the background of the website? Bear that in mind as we'll be back to it shortly. But before that, I need to quickly take you to some company records. As you see, the company managed to exist for a whole month and then was terminated. And it's registered this address in Venice, California. Which is here. Is this Luke's house? Or is it his mum's house? The one with Meghan engraved in the concrete. Now, the house was worth about 1.8 million according to Redfin Zillow. But what's interesting about this address is that it's also the place where Luke registered his other company, YBB Investment Group Limited, which was registered in October 2022, and is currently in default with his paperwork, meaning fines. This business is all about property investment and luxury experiences. Luxury experiences? Would that have anything to do with that website from earlier? Well, if we go over to luxor.co, the place that we saw embossed on his sunglasses, we end up here. Luxor, a place which specializes in luxury packages and experiences. Now, what do we see? Well, it's that video from the sunglasses business. And who's in the video? It's Luke and Madeline, featuring the scenes they shot from their engagement party, including that part where they got a helicopter to fly past the Marry Me sign. And who's the business partner for this little venture? It's Brian, of course. We also see Lukey lying about his masters. He puts it in as location analytics, but not business administration. Now, it's not the YBB Investments Group Limited that's connected to this business. It's the YBB Investment Group SAS, which is a Colombian company linked to this luxury address in Colombia. But what do we get from Luxor? Well, it does a variety of luxury packages, including balling on a budget for $5,000 a person, the Frat Star for $30,000, hello Brian, the Shakira for $10,000, hello Gelfling, and if you're feeling especially exciting, you can have the Escobar for $100,000, hello 17-year-old Gelfling. Every package is totally non-specific about what you get, other than no refunds, as you have to have a chat with Luke to organise your trip. I thought, I'd love to have a lovely conversation with Luke. Maybe I'll go over and book one. Yeah, I'm not paying $50 to talk to his stupid ass. But what we can get is this house where they appear to be partying at. Now, if only I could find this finca in the maze of islands and coves that is the Guatape Bay. Well, I would chuck a hang on a second there, but you know I've found it, don't you? So let's have one of those cool little Google Earth zoom clips to make it look cool. Now, here we are at the Villa Salome in Guatape El Pinol. Haha, penal. So what he does is act as an agent for the owners of the property, and he takes a cut of the price. It's quite a handy location actually, as it's just across from the helicopter place where he likes to rent his flights from. Got to say though, even though it's a lovely 4-bed place that you can squeeze up to 15 people in, the bunk beds and badly fished landscaping doesn't exactly scream luxury to me. So, even though he was earning pretty well from his previous job, he's clearly spent it all by investing in crappy apartments, having custom gold-plated jewellery and sunglasses made, spunking a whole bunch of money on helicopters, flights, clothes, and Gelfling's boobies, all in the vain hope that he can flog high-ticket holidays to people. Because he thought he was a salesman, right? He used to sell rocks to people, right? That must mean he's able to sell holidays to rich fools, right? No, he obviously can't. But he can pay all these other people, including his editor, Mackenzie, and all the other drone operators and film crew people that he employed to make his videos. But he's not just an entrepreneur, you know. No, he's also an author and visionary. Visionary. Because you sell glasses, it doesn't make you a visionary. So, shall we take a look at his best-selling book? Well, he's not got one of those, but he does have a hardly-selling book called Meeting Madeline. Because for some reason, he thought people would want to read all about his inspirational life. Yeah, okay. So I've included a few of the amazing bits already. His life growing up, where he claims to be the cool kid on the block. Yeah, those Catholic school kids are well known for being super cool, you know. In this super wow masterpiece of literature, he says that his second grade teacher looked like Britney Spears. But he didn't like girls till the 5th grade when he met someone called Avery, the first love of his life. But didn't have his first kiss till 6th grade, where he kissed an 8th grader. Then said she had a cousin called Robert, who, according to Luke, used to fear him. What? Someone used to fear this little wet wipe? Robert, you're a pussy. Then in the 7th grade, he dated the vice principal's niece, and they got caught making out in the bathroom. But because he said he was an awesome athlete, yeah, his words, not mine, I quote, they couldn't do shit. Wow, check out Mr. Small Dick Big Balls there, ruling the school and getting all the girls. But then disaster struck, as in the 7th grade he got suspended for looking at corn on a Sony PSP. Now this book does suck quite a lot, then he often says things in one paragraph, then totally repeats it in the next, so it's quite a labour to get through. I think the 3.5 stars is a little bit generous. So, anyway, here's me taking one for the team again so I can review this crap. It was then that his parents split up, and he couldn't handle the stress of his relationship with the vice principal's daughter, so he broke it off with her. Wow, well, the stresses of a 7th grade relationship must have been terrible. She wanted to play with a Tamagotchi, he wanted to watch corn on his mate's PSP. After this, he went to that Hessuit prep school, Loyota High, graduated in 2011 when Gelfling was only 6 years old. At uni, he was part of a frat house, zero surprises there, called TKE, or Tau Kappa Ellipson, where he met a person called Brian. Now, this Brian spells his name with a Y. So I don't know if it's the Brian, but given that he was the guy that got the stripper, and they've got business relationships going back several years, I'm going to hazard a guess that it's the same person. But he just wanted to look cool, so he added a Y in his name. According to Luke, having realised that young love was mostly a ruse, I began to weave my path through the hearts of several girls. I didn't commit myself to anyone and was single most of college until the later years. He then joined a collegiate mining competition team. Steady on there, party boy. All the girls love those geology guys. The competition happened to take place in Australia, so he went there a week before it started. You can see a pattern of rich parents going on there, can't you? I think it's on the mother's side, as his dad owns a shoe shop. In his time in Aussie land, Luke said that Australian women love American guys, and as Aussie boys are shit, again, his words not mine, he thought that taking all their girls was funny. There's nothing those Aussie delights love more than an obnoxious, overconfident, womanising frat boy, you know. While he was there, he met the first love of his life, Maddie. Maddie, short for Madeline, perhaps? Now we know it wasn't the Madeline, as she would have only been about 10 at the time. Well, I hope not anyway. Maddie went to Berkeley and they dated for about 5 years, when he entered into the big bad world of geology careers. He also got himself a house in San Diego, which he rented out, while he moved back to his mum's place, where they converted the back garage into a bachelor pad. This bachelor pad right here, perhaps? I'm increasingly thinking that it is. So, now we know that since losing his job in the mining industry, he lives off the rent that he gets from a 3-bed property in San Diego. The same place as Big Ed, incidentally. I don't know where it is, but the average rent for a 3-bed, 2-bath property in San Diego is between $3,000 and $5,000. Plus the $1,700 he gets from the ADU, which would give him around about a $63,000 a year income minus taxes. But if he mortgaged the place, which is highly likely given the property is worth somewhere in the region of $1.5 million, he would then be losing $2,000 a month. So he's currently earning somewhere between $63,000 and minus $28,000 a year. Plus, one of those helicopter trips that the Gelfling love so much would cost him about 10% of his monthly income. And there you have it. Quite possibly the fullest and most comprehensive story of little Luke that you'll find. Does it make you look at him differently now you know that he's a Catholic school preppy frat boy who has nothing left to his name? No, I bet not. Anyway, shall we get back to the episode? Where were we? Oh yes, Luke has bought Gelfling a gift to try and smooth out their relationship, which is currently as wrinkly as Luke's uninspiring ballsack. So, what could it be? Some flowers? Chocolates perhaps? Maybe another business that she could run into the ground? No, it's actually worse than that. And you might want to turn your volume down for this bit.
Your new dog. Look at this.
Holy shit, my ears! Those poor dogs just had their eardrums blown out of their super adorable fluffy heads. Yes, indeedy, seeing as all that cleansing and attempting to make up for all that stripper business wasn't going anywhere, Gelfling used her best tactic to make it known how he could win back her heart. Yeah, great idea, Lukey Poo. I actually hate the fact his name is Luke, seeing as that's my name too. But he can be Little Luke, due to his small penis. And I can be Big Luke, due to my superior position. I don't see anyone wanting to pay him $180 for a video of that fiasco. You know, just saying. Anyway, so how much did this bright idea cost him?
I had to move some money around. It was $2,000.
Good job. But I noticed no one asked Cairo, the not too bad name they gave the poor creature, if he wanted to be owned by the main character from Dark Crystal. I bet he's not too keen on the idea either. Right, get off me or I'll bite you. I'm really fierce, you know. That's totally enough for her to forgive him. Apparently it's because that shows her that he thinks she's special. Shows us that he's a dumbass who shouldn't be allowed anywhere near money, but, hey ho.
And I forgive him and I'm so happy.
Let's leave them there for now, as we reluctantly head back to France to see more of Manon and Anthony. Did you know that the name Manon carries meanings such as bitter? Well, there's no surprises there. So Anthony finally gets to ply Manon with some cheese, which initially seems to calm the wild beast. But after explaining that this is all a plan to give her an idea of what he wants to do for a hobby, she reverts to type.
So respect also that I'm still here making an effort for you.
Effort? Really? Where was that then? While she was moaning about just about everything? Okay, sure, he should have said something about the outfit in the beginning. Then you have to question the intelligence of a man who watches his lady getting in the car with the chic outfit on. And just thinks, yeah, it'll be fine. But she could have at least tried a little bit, or, ask for some wellies at the farm.
It's just too much. Of course I want you to be happy and I don't want it to be all about me.
Blimey, I think I prefer to listen to Madeline screaming. So while she's busy escalating the pitch of her voice, it made me think, I wonder what the world's worst noise is. Is it noisy eating? Nails down blackboard?
I want you to be happy and I don't want it to...
Yep, I think I've discovered the most offensive noise ever. Oh, hold on a second. I think I've actually found it. Yeah. Over now to see Chloe and Johny, and Chloe says some stuff about things, and Johny gets some drinks, and the mum is mostly unbearable. And generally it was melting my brain, having to watch this entitled monster.
I think my mom's offer of...
No one cares! Skip! So let's get back to see what's happening in Colombia, shall we? Isn't it strange how I'd rather watch a woman who looks like an anteater with dentures and a penniless frat boy with a god complex way more than I would like to watch those two? Well, hold on to your preference pants, because we haven't seen much of this segment yet. But in the title sequence, they're smiling, so maybe it's all gotten a bit better for them.
I was hoping we could put all the fighting behind us, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
What? You mean you bought a dog and had some smoke wafted about? And she's not forgiven you properly? Well, what else would she need? Aside from what's left of his cash. He's happy to give her everything except trust, commitment and a sense of remorse. But she's just so unbearably entitled. Oh, where's that ejector button when you need one?
Be a man, pay the rent and pay the bills is the minimal things the men have to do.
I mean, yes, some of us men might be willing to do these things for a woman. But we do it because we want to, not because it's been demanded of us. I'm an old-fashioned kind of guy, and I do believe that a man should support his woman and his family. It's the correct thing to do. But if someone was so damn entitled and spoke to me like that, I'd be on the next plane out of Colombia. And what is a high-value man getting in return for his money? Well, aside from a ball ache, I've got no idea. And a real man with real worth just wouldn't stick around.
You don't like it? Leave.
So, that's the end of this episode. I hope it's been as amazing for you as it has been for me. But that's not the end of these stories, of course. So don't miss the next thrilling installment when we see Anthony getting a job.
It is the only job that I'm qualified for.
Chloe and her mum are doing some stuff, probably, but I'm sure as hell not going to be covering it. Jenny and Summit will be poisoning the locals. Norman will be doing a bit of cooking. And Gelfling cries about it. Ha! What a shame. So that wraps it all up for this video. And what did we learn, ladies and gentlemen? Well, in the end, love is not measured by the gifts we give or the things that we own, but by the moments we choose to share and the lives that we weave together. It is found in the quiet compromises, the gentle adjustments that we make from one another, and the willingness to meet halfway when the road feels long. True love is not about possession, moreover it's about the presence, about showing up, again and again, with patience, kindness and the courage to grow side by side. When we learn that compromise is not surrender, but the most powerful tool of connection, we discover that love is less of a transaction and more of a shared journey. One that makes us stronger, softer, and infinitely more human. Thank you so much for watching and joining me for a little adventure through life and love. I truly appreciate all the support you give me and my little channel, and I hope you'll be back to do it all again soon. So if you like what I do, then please do like, subscribe, and check out one of these little beauties. So until we meet again, stay beautiful, love to my three, and you take care of yourself.